Hi Ro, my name is Sandra Willer and today we are going to be getting ready together whilst I talk to you about all things influencer marketing and business. I've just been sitting outside on the terrace for lunch and I actually think I got a little bit of a tan. Always practice safe sun though. I love a tanned and glowy look, so I usually start off with these. The Sunshine Drops by Drunk Elephant. I work as an influencer and I've actually been around since the blogging days. Since 2012 is when I started my blog. So watching the landscape change and sort of growing and evolving with it has been very interesting and exciting. My lips feel a bit dry from sitting outside, so I'm just gonna pop some of this on. This is the Laneige sleeping mask. I use this every night as well. So nice. I like to bring it with me when I travel too. So when it comes to partnerships and brand deals, I like to take quite a holistic approach. I also don't have an agent because I usually really want to personalize my collaborations. Of course, I will follow a brief if I agree with the brief, but my approach is very much one where I like to have a say, and that's not simply because I want to be the boss. Actually, it's because I find that when I work that way and when I get to sort of tailor a client and their message or their product to my specific profile and my specific audience, I find that it usually performs better, like for everyone all around. I think that the focus can be a lot on, what do we need to achieve? What do we need to say? What do we need to show? What do we want to gain from this collaboration? But I always want to bring another angle as well, which is how do we create value? So for someone to want to watch like an ad essentially, right? It needs to be interesting. It needs to either just like entertain them, give them inspiration, give them input, be aesthetically pleasing, provide some sort of value. For me, the best collaborations are definitely the ones where it creates value for me by working with a brand and by getting paid for my work. It creates value for the brand by them being exposed to my audience, and it needs to create value for my audience who are the ones consuming the content. Like the content just needs to be up to standard and it needs to be interesting somehow. I also always like to tell clients, I'm not an actor, I'm not an actress. I am an influencer and I can't essentially pretend. I also am not very good at following scripts, so like I need flexibility to be able to say things and communicate things in my own words, be that the spoken word or the written word, depending on the format of said collaboration. Gosh, I'm getting carried away with the business talk. I need to take you on my makeup journey. So I love a pink icy eyeshadow, okay? Like an old school Victoria's Secret vibe. And this is actually a highlighter. This is Cookie from Benefit. I like to just put that all over my lid. This is the Icy Nudes palette by Huda Beauty. I got this for Christmas. My family got it for me and I have been loving it. It just has like the most beautiful, mostly cool toned eyeshadows, which is something I really appreciate because I prefer cool tones most of the time. In summer, I might lean more warm tone, but for winter and spring, like I love an icy pink. Collaborations. Also another rule of thumb for me is like if I wouldn't consider purchasing this product myself, I'm not about to tell my audience to do that. Like it needs to be something that I back, something that I think is up to standard and is interesting in one way or another. Also because long term, you really need to because to build a business long term, you need to keep people's trust, right? if someone buys something on your recommendation once and it's trash, they're not likely to do so again. So at the end of the day, I guess it can be appealing to sometimes make a quick buck, but if you want to stay in business, you need to take your authority and your authenticness quite seriously, because like people can see through it. I guess you could say that's how I stay authentic when working with brands and doing partnerships, is by, I guess, literally being authentic and with being discerning in who I select and how we choose to present that product or service to my audience and get involved with the creative process. I also love working in more integrated ways and doing design collabs. I've also started working with brands in a way where I offer them a combination of influencer services and consultancy services, which has been very fun for me. I love using my knowledge on the other side as well, like not just to the camera, but behind the scenes. So when it comes to personal branding and standing out in this very, at times, I guess, saturated space, right? I think, again, I know I feel like I'm gonna sound kind of cliche, but bear with me. It's authenticity and it's being unique. I just had to go get this out of my bag. So this is MAC Soar lip liner. I've been swearing by this for years, and I found out that this is the same one that Wolfie Cindy also uses. So obviously the girls that get it. This is just like the perfect pink, like natural looking pink, cool toned pink lip liner. But yeah, when it comes to building a personal brand, I do think it's important to find out whatever it is you have that's authentic to you, because you know, there's so many people already out there doing other stuff. I just believe we all shine the brightest when we follow our own unique talents and inner voice. Oh, I need to show you this too. This is Kiko. I love Kiko, so good and so budget friendly. This is their Hydra lip gloss. I think the color is 05. So icy pink. We love it. So yeah, I'm just putting that on top of the lip liner. Like 3 years ago, I got my lips tattooed, which is one of the best things I've ever done beauty-wise. I think my best advice to aspiring influencers would be to create more than you consume. I think one of the biggest pitfalls, or at least one of the things I've struggled the most with in my career and when I felt, you know, overwhelmed or fallen into the trap of comparison, is literally that when you look too much at what others are doing and sort of become caught up in that. It's important to cultivate your own creativity, your own creation, more than you're looking at what others are doing. And yes, we should keep up with each other. Yes, we should hype up our colleagues in this industry. But yeah, I have very strict boundaries these days with my social media, because it's linked to my creativity, which is linked to my work. So I need a system that allows my creativity to flourish. More strategic structures in place in my business as well, right? But yeah, don't fall into that trap. Spend more time creating your own than you do looking at others or comparing yourself to others. This is at the very end. There's barely any mascara left in this, but this is just like a brown mascara, which I switched to a couple years ago, and I just think brown is so much better and softer, at least for daytime looks. To aspiring brands is, when it comes to influencers or content creators, find the ones that genuinely like your product, like that would actually use it in their day-to-day life. I think sometimes, you know, you have an idea of who is maybe the biggest or the most influential, but I do believe the people who are going to move the needle the most are the ones who actually believe in you. And also my advice is to listen to creators. Sometimes I think brands has like have like a stricter brief or campaign idea that they want to follow, and I totally understand that, and I understand that there's structures in place that make that necessary. But if you can consult with the creator themselves on a campaign or a piece of content, then I think you should do it. Now I'm just going in with this like pearly pink, also from Kiko, eyeliner on my waterline. And now I'm just going in with a bit more cookie on some strategic spots, like with the bridge of my nose, my brow bone, maybe even the Cupid's bow. Well, oh, that was a bit much. Okay guys, that was it. This is my glowy, pinkish, icy look that I love and wear on the daily. To sum up my advice in this video, I think it would essentially be, remember to create value for everyone. I totally support being a goal-getter and, you know, being focused on what you want to achieve. But when it comes to content creation, you are dependent on your audience and dependent on creating value for them. So just don't lose sight of that in your pursuit of success business-wise. It was so lovely chatting to you guys. I hope some of my advice was useful, and yeah, thanks for having me.